Have you ever felt the silent frustration of self-sabotage? That feeling that your desires point in one direction whilst your life insists on moving in another? But what if you are not failing? What if there is a biological reason for this conflict, an invisible program running in the background? Inspired by the revolutionary wisdom of Dr. Bruce Lipton, we will explore how you can stop fighting yourself and learn how to be so magnetic that things come to you. This is not about trying harder, it is about understanding more deeply what is truly in control. Have you ever felt the profound and silent frustration of being at war with yourself? It is that quiet internal conflict where your most sincere conscious desires for health, for abundance, for a deep and meaningful love are mysteriously undermined by your own recurring patterns of behavior. It is a painful cycle that can lead you to believe you are somehow broken or failing. But what if you are not failing at all? What if, in fact, your program is succeeding perfectly? The pioneering work of biologist Dr. Bruce Lipton offers a powerful and compassionate lens through which to see this struggle. He makes a foundational distinction. Your conscious mind, the creative thinker, is the seat of your wishes and desires. But it is your subconscious mind that is the tape player, faithfully running the programs it learned long ago. True magnetism fails when our conscious wishes, which govern about 5% of our mind's processing power, are in direct conflict with our subconscious programs, which run the other 95% of our day on autopilot. This provides a beautiful bridge to the concept of the divine matrix, as described by Greg Braden. The quantum field is not responding to the 5% of you that is wishing for a different life. It is responding to the powerful, coherent, and constant broadcast of the 95% program that you are running without even knowing it. Your life is a perfect mirror, but it is reflecting a deeper truth than the one your conscious mind is aware of. This exploration, then, is not about applying more willpower or trying harder. That is the path of exhaustion. This is about understanding the biological mechanism of your own programming. It is about learning with gentleness and curiosity how to access the control panel to consciously re-record the tapes that are quietly and powerfully shaping your life. We begin with a universal and often painful experience, setting a powerful, heartfelt intention, only to find ourselves days or weeks later back in the exact same unwanted reality. This recurring cycle can breed a deep sense of personal failure and hopelessness, leaving us to wonder why we cannot seem to create the life our soul so deeply desires. The reason is not a lack of will, but a lack of awareness of the invisible script that is truly running the show. Dr. Lipton's model explains this with profound clarity. Your conscious mind is creative, it's future-oriented, and it is the home of your dreams and aspirations. Your subconscious mind, however, is a vast database of downloaded behaviors and beliefs designed to be habitual and efficient. When your conscious mind is not actively paying attention, when it is lost in thought about the past or the future, the subconscious mind automatically takes over and runs its pre-recorded programs. This leads to a counterintuitive and deeply liberating revelation. You are not failing to attract your desires. It is more accurate to say that your subconscious is succeeding with remarkable efficiency at repelling them. If your conscious desire is for abundance, but your subconscious program sees this as foreign, unsafe, or undeserved, that program will actively and successfully create a reality that matches its old conditioning. The problem is not that your signal is weak. It is that you are broadcasting an incredibly powerful signal that is sending the wrong message. A simple way to begin illuminating these hidden programs is through a gentle diagnostic question. You can identify one recurring, unwanted pattern in your life and, in a quiet moment, ask yourself this: for this outcome to be my consistent reality, what would my subconscious mind have to believe is true about me? This question gently shifts the focus from blaming circumstances
to identifying the underlying program that is creating them. Think of your subconscious as a sophisticated autopilot on an aircraft. Your conscious mind can briefly take the controls and dream of a new, beautiful destination. But the moment your attention wanders, the autopilot, with its flight path pre-programmed from your past, immediately and seamlessly takes over and steers you back towards the only destination it knows as home. Many of us live with a silent anguish, wondering where these deep, limiting beliefs even came from. They can feel so inherent, so fundamentally a part of who we are, that we resign ourselves to the idea that we are permanently flawed or simply not destined for the lives we dream of. The confusion is understandable, but the origin of these programs is not as mysterious as it seems. For the most part, they were installed before we even had a conscious mind to accept or reject them. Dr. Lipton's work in developmental biology explains that from birth until approximately age 7, a child's brain operates predominantly in a low-frequency brainwave state known as theta. Theta is the state of hypnosis, of imagination, of profound receptivity. During these formative years, we do not have the capacity for critical thinking to filter information. We are like living recorders, downloading our understanding of the world directly into our subconscious mind. Our foundational beliefs about self-worth, about how lovable we are, and about our relationship with money are not chosen by us. They are absorbed from the words, behaviors, and attitudes of our environment. This reveals a truth that can be profoundly liberating. Your most deeply ingrained limitations are likely not even yours. The realization that your most deeply ingrained limitations are not personal truths about your character, but are in fact second-hand programs downloaded from parents, society, and early experiences can be a pivotal moment of release. This awareness gently removes the heavy burden of shame. It transforms the problem from a fundamental personal flaw into a programming issue that can be addressed and updated.
A reflective practice here could be a form of emotional archaeology. You might think of a major limitation you face and allow yourself to trace it back in time. What did you hear or observe about that specific topic from your caregivers before you were 7? The goal of this is not to assign blame, but simply to identify the impersonal source of the program, to see that it was something that happened to you, not something that is you. Imagine the subconscious mind of a young child as freshly tilled, fertile soil. The words and behaviors of the people around them are the seeds that are being planted. In that early, receptive stage, every seed that falls into the soil, whether it is a seed of love and empowerment or a seed of fear and limitation, is accepted without question. It begins to grow deep roots, silently forming the foundational architecture of the life that will one day be built upon it. One of the most common errors we make when trying to change is that we attempt to speak the wrong language to our subconscious mind. This is why traditional positive affirmations, repeated with force, often fail to create lasting change. Consciously saying, "I am wealthy," whilst your subconscious program is one of "we can't afford that," simply creates an internal conflict. The conscious mind speaks with words and logic. The subconscious mind learns through the languages it understands: habit, powerful emotion, and repetition. Dr. Lipton clarifies that the subconscious mind can be effectively reprogrammed in the same two primary ways it was originally programmed. The first is through hypnosis, which is the act of accessing the receptive theta brainwave state. The second is through repetition and practice, which is how we form new, lasting habits. It is through repetition that we learn complex tasks, like playing an instrument or driving a car,
until they become so automatic that we no longer have to think about them. We are, in essence, installing a new program. This leads to a game-changing insight. To create real and lasting change, you must find a way to gently bypass the conscious critic. You cannot argue with or bully the subconscious program into changing. You must speak to it directly, especially when the conscious mind, the guardian at the gate, is less active and more relaxed. This happens naturally in the moments of deep relaxation, specifically in the tranquil states just before you fall asleep and just as you are waking up, when your brain waves naturally slow down towards theta. From this understanding, we can explore a practical technique for reprogramming, a gentle ritual that might be called the Twilight Protocol. It begins with crafting a simple, positive present tense statement of your desired reality. For instance, I am worthy of receiving love easily and joyfully. Then you might record this statement in your own voice on a loop. Finally, as you are falling asleep, you can play this recording at a barely audible volume. Your conscious mind will drift off, but your subconscious remains open and receptive, allowing the new programming to be installed directly, night after night. Think of it as rewriting the code of a computer. You cannot change a computer's fundamental behavior by simply shouting new instructions at the screen. You must go into the underlying source code and patiently input the new commands.
This protocol is a way of accessing your own biological source code and compassionately rewriting the limiting instructions that have been running your life on autopilot. Let us explore a state of being that we have all likely experienced, a state that Dr. Lipton calls the honeymoon effect. Can you recall a time when you first fell in love and for a while your life felt like heaven on earth? Perhaps chronic health problems seemed to vanish, your creativity soared, and every day was filled with a vibrant beauty and energy. Where does this apparent magic come from, and why, for so many of us, does it eventually fade? The biological explanation is beautifully simple. The honeymoon effect occurs because the state of being in love keeps our conscious mind fully and joyfully present. When the conscious mind is present and focused on the joy of the moment, it remains in control. It does not default to playing the old negative subconscious programs from the past. For that period, you are living directly from your creative wishes and desires, not from your limiting history. This state of profound joy and presence is what makes you so powerfully and effortlessly magnetic. This reveals a profound shift in perspective. That blissful magnetic state of the honeymoon is not a rare anomaly, it is our natural state when our subconscious programs are not sabotaging us. The goal then is not to endlessly chase a fleeting feeling, but to create a life where your new empowering programming and your conscious desires are so aligned that the honeymoon effect becomes your baseline reality. It becomes your natural way of being, a state of inner peace and plenitude that does not depend on external factors. A daily practice to cultivate this is to stay in love with life itself by consciously choosing to keep your mind in the present moment. It can be a simple, gentle practice. Whenever you notice that your mind has been hijacked by a worry, which is simply an old program playing, you can gently stop, take one single conscious breath, and find one thing in your immediate environment to truly see and appreciate. This is a powerful act of reclaiming conscious control from the autopilot. Ultimately, you can think of yourself as a biological broadcast tower, and as Lipton explains, your perception of life is what tunes your antenna. When you are unconsciously running old programs of fear and lack, you broadcast a frequency that can only receive matching experiences. By reprogramming your beliefs and practicing the art of staying present, you change the broadcast.
You begin to transmit a coherent signal of love and vitality, and the universe, by its very nature, must send you experiences that match that new, clear, and highly magnetic signal. We have journeyed from the frustrating belief that we are flawed victims of our circumstances to the empowering understanding that we are the powerful programmers of our biological reality. The issue has never been with our innate potential, it has always been with our programming. The life we experience is not a reflection of our worth, but a reflection of the beliefs we hold in the deepest parts of our minds.
We can conclude with the central, liberating tenet of Bruce Lipton's entire body of work. You are not a victim of your genes. Your beliefs and your perceptions of life act as the master signals that select your genetic activity. By changing your subconscious programs, you are engaging in the most powerful form of genetic engineering possible, choosing to become the proof that inner transformation is possible at any age. This courageous act of reprogramming is the very definition of what Dr. Joe Dispenza calls breaking the habit of being yourself. It is the conscious decision to move from a past-based identity, recorded in the cells of your body, to a future-based potential created by a conscious, present, and fully aligned mind. The final invitation, therefore, is to stop fighting your own biology and to instead become its loving and conscious architect. The power to create a magnetic life that effortlessly draws your desires to you is not found in wishing harder, but in reprogramming deeper. You are the artist, and your perception is the brush with which you paint the masterpiece of your life onto the infinite canvas of the quantum field.